Hey, good morning. Today I'm going to talk about access and checks and the process of getting a check here in OMO Volunteer Centre. So I'm going to share a screen of the process. So when you're making an access and check, you need to go online. To the Access NI website. You can do this by typing into Google Access NI check, and it'll take you through their website. And what you'll be looking for is the apply for an Access NI check link. Next, you'll be looking for this green button down at the bottom. You'll either be creating a new account or you'll be logging into an account you've previously created in the past. So if you know your account details, you can log in here, or you can use these links to get your password if you forgot it, or even if you forgot your username, sign in, or you can create a new account over here. So you need to fill in these details, create an account. It's important to fill out all of the boxes, including your middle name. You continue by completing your address details and clicking the declaration that you agree and create your account. You will receive an email and you have to activate your account by clicking on the link in that email address. After you've activated your account, you will go back into the website and sign in using the details that you created earlier. Now, once you're through and you've signed in, we will send you a PIN code. I'll share this with you later in this presentation. You can also download a PIN form from our website, and that includes the PIN code that you'll have to input into the application process. This PIN code here isn't correct, so don't use it. You'll need a 5-year address history. So just be prepared before you're going through your application that you have that. You'll work your way through the process online, and at the end of it, it will give you a case reference number. It's important to take a copy of this reference number, as you'll need it to include it on your PIN form, your paper PIN form reference later on when you're coming into the office here to complete your application. You can track your application to see where it is down at the bottom here. You can log in anytime to the system and track your application to see how it's going on. Once you log in, you can go to, this will show you where it is. So you can see application with body. That means it's currently with ourselves here at the Volunteer Centre. Once it's been processed, it'll say certificate issued. When it's at this stage, you can view it or you can share it, your certificate. So this is an example of a certificate. It's not, you can share it here with the organization that you're doing the check for. just by entering their email address. You can see that this only lasts 3 days, so it's important to do that whenever the check has been made. So I'm going to share just another screen. So after you make your online application, you need to do a paper PIN form. You can download this as well from our website, or the organization you are applying through should have one. This is our PIN number for our own volunteer center. You need to enter this if it's not already entered into the PIN form you're provided with. You'll have to enter it here. The application reference number, you would have got this when you completed your online part of the form. You need to enter it here. Now, this explains your identity validation. It tells you how many pieces of information you need. So on page 2 of this document, it gives you examples of what kind of IDs you need. So it shows you here you need 1 from group 1 and a further 2 from group 1 or group 2. So you always need 1 from group 1 and 2 from these. And just read through these to make sure you're meeting the criteria correctly. As you can see, some of them must have been issued within the last 12 months. And some of them must have been issued within the last 3 months. So take your time and read through that and make sure that you're providing us with the right documentation. Otherwise, we won't be able to process the application. So when you're completing this PIN form, after you insert your application reference here, please ensure that you answer this question. Everyone seems to miss it, even though it's highlighted. So is there any reason why you cannot work in regulated activity? Yes and no, and you must put in a date. Here you need to put in your surname, name, and your middle name. Everybody also misses their middle name, but you need to insert this. Just because there's so many people with the same names out there, you don't want mistaken identity. And also ensure that when you're doing the online part of the process, when you're putting in your names, use a capital for the first letter, and make sure it's the grammar is correct. So you just date of birth, your current postcode, the organization you're going to be working for, the role and position that it's going to be. This information is very important because this will appear on your certificate, so it has to be correct. You can pay when you're making the application, or we can invoice the organization that you're applying to. So make sure you can pay us here in the office when you're doing it, or we can invoice them at a later date if that's what you've agreed with that organization. You need to enter your driving license number, your passport number, and your national insurance number if you have them. This section here at the bottom, this is for a counter signatory to complete a counter signatory is someone within the organization you're applying to will have already signed up to be a counter signatory. Some organizations will have them and some won't. If your organization does have a counter signatory, they can take copies of your ID and sign this form off and then send it in to us. If your organization doesn't have a counter signatory, you'll have to make an appointment here at the office to come in and meet with one of our staff members just to go through the ID validation and for us to sign this off. You can then pay when you're in the office, and we can give you a receipt for that payment. Just a couple of other last things to go through. So organizations that are getting checks through ourselves need to have a service level agreement in place with the OMO Volunteer Centre. So the organization will have to complete this before we can complete any checks. A lot of organizations will have completed this in the past, but every now and then Access NI send out an updated version which has to be completed. So they have an updated version out at the moment. So if you haven't already completed an up-to-date service level agreement, please do so. Just a quick overview of why an enhanced check might be needed and the type of roles that we can check for within the volunteer centre. So we can only do enhanced or standard checks for Access NI. We don't do basic checks. You can do these yourself online. So the type of checks that we normally be working with is regulated activity for children or with adults. So examples include teaching, supervising children, driving vehicles with children, foster caring, child minding, and regulated activity with adults is working in healthcare, providing personal care. So these are just examples of some the checks that we are able to check for. And finally, these are just some step-by-step instructions, which you can download these from the website along with the PIN form. All these documents can be downloaded from our website. Just go to OMO Volunteer Centre. You can do it through Google or omovolunteercentre.org. So these are just covering some of the things that I've mentioned already, putting in your full name, using the title case. When you're doing your online application, you'll be asked if you want a postal copy of your certificate or a digital copy. So you must check which one you prefer. The payment is £40 for a paid worker, or it's £5 for a volunteer. This can be paid through BACS, through cash, or through check, made payable to OMO Volunteer Centre. So once again, to do a check currently, you must make an appointment, as our office is not currently staffed full time. So you can email through all your documentation. So that includes your PIN form and your ID through to a volunteer at omovolunteercentre.org. You can do it at the organization that you're applying through, through a signatory, or you can make an appointment, which is probably the best way here at the office. So you can do that by emailing volunteer@omavolunteercentre.org to make an appointment to get your IDs checked and to process your application. All the relevant documentation and paperwork that you need, such as the PIN form, will be on our website, or you can request this through email. So this is just a quick overview of how to make a Access NI check currently. If you need any more information, please email myself, Martin, the volunteer coordinator, and you can get me at volunteer@omavolunteercentre.org. Okay, thank you.